All right, hello, good morning, everyone, or good whatever time it is for you. I'm sure the China team is staying up late for these games. Morning for the Brazilians, though. And I think they're just getting started with their drafts. Let me get those set up. And here we are with the map draft already. Look at that. Game 1 will be on 2 rivers, and I need to swap the teams in my overlay. Brazil's on the left. That's Brazil, and this is China. Oh, look at those flowers. Hello, churs, live forever and ever. Caramasao, syntactic salt, patata, and crawdad. We're getting to the end of Nations Cup. Only 4 teams left: China, Brazil, and then the Finland will be waiting for the winner of this, and then Canada already in the grand finals. Okay, Civ draft on the way. For whom are we cheering today? That is for you to decide. I did have China A as my overall pick to win best of 9. No, it is a best of 7, and Canada will have a 1-game advantage. So it is at most 6 games. Is that the correct use of the word whom? Yeah, yes, that is correct. You use it in the accusative and dative cases. Well, you each decide individually. You don't decide for everyone. Any guesses on which player will have the most APM? Oh, that's a good question. Oh, for these teams, I don't know. The APM. I mean, probably going to be Lix, because he's going to have like 10 population, so he can spend all his APMing 10 units. And weirdly enough, usually the fewer units you have, the higher your APM from what I've been seeing. Long time no driving stream. Hello, Maxos. Are you driving now? And hopefully just listening and not actually watching? It's 12 p.m. in Brazil. Well, I think that matters where in Brazil you are, because there are several time zones. And it is 12 p.m. for the parts of Brazil that are a bit east of me, because it is 11 a.m. where I am. Alright, Windows gave me a message that I need to restart to install upgrades, so hopefully my computer doesn't automatically restart in the middle of the stream. That would be a very Microsoft thing of it to do. Oh, thank you, Emerson Sepp, for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Does Brazil do daylight savings? As far as I know, they do. They're all from the southeast. All right, then it's probably 12 p.m. for all of them. Oh, I'm seeing conflicting answers in the chat. Some saying they don't and some saying they do. Daylight savings. I know in the US it depends on where you are. Some parts of the US don't actually observe it. There's the quirk that if you drive through Arizona, there are various parts of the state with all of the American Indian reservations, whereas some places observe it and some don't, so you'll be changing your time zone back and forth. You got the same message yesterday, but you're still going strong without restarting. I hope that happens to me. I once had to restart to install Windows 8.1 at like 3 a.m. and then it took an hour. So China A going with Nomad and African clearing. Brazil going for the water maps of migration and Team Islands. And then we have 2 rivers as the neutral map. Brazil not trying to pick Black Forest against China. Daylight savings was suspended in 2019 for Brazil, apparently. Thoughts on Romans? I have not seen anything from them. Probably not planning on buying the DLC. At least until it goes significantly on sale if I want to play the campaigns, but I'm really not interested in it. Taking a long time to start the draft. And thank you, Gandalf MX, for the follow. See if Paradox needs to do some adminning to get them to start the draft. Adding more than just one of the civs. I mean, the thing about the DLC is that literally there's a mod already where you can play AoE 1 and AoE 2 that adds new civs and makes the AoE 1 campaigns playable. And you can just play it. I played it years ago. It's on Voobly. So it's like they're trying to sell me something I've already played. And it's not even having the campaigns in it. So I'm really not interested in it, especially after having AoE 1 DE. Like, if they gave us a discount for people who already own AoE 1 DE, I could understand it. Or, like, sold the two of them in a bundle together. But, as it is, I'd only be getting it for the campaigns. Who does Brazil use as flanks? They change it up sometimes. Usually it's Dogao and Fire as the flanks, where Goku and Fire play together, and Dogao and Miguel play together. But I have changed that up on a few maps. Just to get different people microing the galleys. Interesting that China wanted to ban Arabia and play Two Rivers instead. They do at least have their two Nomad maps. And what is taking them so long to start this draft? Oh, there we go. Dravidians for Brazil. Getting the Nomad Team Islands migration civ. And Japanese for China. And Vikings. I guess it's a question of, does Brazil want to pick Spanish for Nomad? Or just assume China's going to win Nomad and try to win the other maps instead and not waste picks on Nomad civs? How does the map ban work? They each pick two home maps, then they ban maps until there's one remaining, and they play the remaining one. So, Spanish Britons, then Portuguese Italians. Ooh, Mongols, then for African clearing. And Byzantines. Alright, Byzantines making it into the top picks. And Chinese. Alright, so China picking their home civ. getting that home civ advantage. Home civ, exactly. It's one of the most important picks you can make. And they both snipe off Dravidians and Vikings. Man, what a map pool for that to happen. Why don't you ban Nomad? Because you pick the home maps before the bans. So you can't ban it before China picks it. Otherwise, I'm sure they would. The bans are only in this draft setup for determining the final map. And so Koreans is a fairly early pick for China. I really do like Koreans as the flank for Migration Team Islands. And then we'll have Lithuanians for Brazil. I wonder if they go for Persians and go for Lithuanian Persian flanks on migration. That could be interesting. Oh yeah, they have Persians already, yeah. Ooh. Alright, and then Saracens. I want to see the classic Mongol pick. I think the classic Mongol pick is Mongols on BF. But Brazil is probably planning on using them on African clearing. Gurjars. As that's an African clearing civ. Oh, also thank you, Lazy AO and Valnir230 for the follows. We're closing in on 7,000 followers. We're at 6,928 right now. Hello, Cheeseman. The regional picks. What we need is just Brazil to pick the 3 American civs then. get it as close as possible to their home civ. And China can get, well, I guess Brazil already has Mongols, but as many of the East Asian civs as they can. Oh, they did steal Malay too. Should be assigned a home civ as pick ones. That would be cool if you had a Nations Cup where you could only play your national civ. Like the Chinese team would have to play everyone as the Chinese all for every game for all 4 civ slots. So Bohemians and Bulgarians. Usually Bohemians find a slot on either Arena or BF. But now they're going to have to somehow be played on one of these Nomad or Water maps. It'll be a new situation for that civ, to say the least. Are Celts usable with new buffs? Well, they don't. This is on the old patch. They're not changing the patch in the middle of the tournament. Celts will probably be at the end. Celt's still a great Black Forest civ, but not really on other maps. You might see them as a migration flank because of the wood bonus. They're kind of playable early on water maps. And that's also where you see Incas, is that migration flank sometimes. You don't like what they did to your organ guns, Maxos? Are you sad you can no longer castle drop on Arena and make one unit? Although you probably can still do that. You just can't eat the TCs as much. It is a best of 5. Not a best of 7. The next game, the lower bracket finals will be, or the next series will be a best of 7, but this one is a best of 5. It's only the upper bracket and lower bracket finals that are best of 7s. Then the grand final is a best of 7 where the Canadian team will already have a 1-game advantage, so that will be at most 6 games. So this is a very tricky set of maps to draft for, I think, because they're all kind of similar. And usually you find maps like BF or Arena or even Hideout or Team Acropolis that are slightly different than the other picks. where you can find room for those civs, such as the Bohemians. But here, it's all water maps aside from African clearing. It is the last best of 5 of the tournament, correct? And we've been seeing how low civs like Teutons are picked. Well, sometimes Teutons are really high at the top just for arena. And I wonder what civs they're going to save to the end with this format. Seems like Aztecs, Celts are all going to be down there. Goths, of course. Poles and also Tatars, Slavs remaining. Celt and Goth? Oh, Celts there? Picked before Slavs. Or picked with Slavs there for China. Aztecs, Goths, and Tatars. I feel like if you're gonna know your opponent picks the Goths, maybe you pick Aztecs to counter them, but now Brazil taking Goths. I mean, Aztecs I feel like are still a perfectly decent flank on 2 rivers. Alright, everyone, give me your predictions. I'm gonna go China 3-2. I think they win Nomad and can probably win African clearing in one other map. We got Brazil 3-2, Brazil 3-1, and China 3-1. The yo factor is real. China 3-2, but rooting for Brazil. Alright, and there we are, playing on West US 3. What a server for these teams. Maybe that'll be less laggy for the Brazilians. But yeah, no really good server for them. I don't know if African clearing is an auto win for China. And China kicked Austria out, so Brazil has to revenge them. kicked out the Leary-led Austrian team. Alright, lobby's up, they're joining it. Game 1 will be 2 rivers. Looks like Miguel is picking purple and wanting Brazil to have the warm colors. Alright, Brazil's all present. Immediately we see Brazil and Goku going for the pockets. I mean, Miguel and Goku going for the pockets for Brazil. And then, of course, Doga pairing up with Miguel, and that means Fire will be the red player with a Goku. It looks like they're remaking some stuff in the lobby. There we go. Still waiting for Vivi and Tim. Oh, there's Tim. So just waiting for Vivi. Oh, the dashboard went offline temporarily and reset everything. There, fix that. Oh, and Exodiquas, thank you for the sub with Prime. Welcome to the Baltic Fleet. Thank you very much for the sub. Oh, and there's Vivi. Now just waiting on Doga to rejoin. Did you know that when you have a PO box, the mail is ready by 11 a.m.? I did not know that. From never watched AoE 2 to when is the next tournament starting? Oh, that's nice. We're gonna have Masters of Arena coming up at the end of the month, and that I'm gonna absolutely love that. I love watching arena games, and I'm looking forward to the 9 Villagers start. I'm pinged on Discord. Yep, and 1800 HP walls, so hopefully fewer trushes. Arena, like an actual arena map. And it's gonna be lovely. And hello, Leedson. Masters of Arena 3v3. I'd kind of like to do an Arena 4v4 tournament, like we've been having Rage Forest. There's like 3 things I want to do. It's Arabia Huns, Arabia 4v4 Random Civ, and Arena 4v4. An Arena 4v4 with proper 1800 HP walls. And thank you for the follow. And the game is now starting. We have a 3-minute spectator delay. And then we'll get going, but we can see the civs for Two Rivers. For Brazil, it'll be Ethiopians and Britons on the flanks with Huns and Cumans in the pockets. For China, it'll be Portuguese and Bohemian flanks with Frank and Hindustani pockets, using the Portuguese here instead of Team Islands. I've never understood that. Why do teams not use Portuguese for Team Islands? There's such a good civ there. That makes sense that this is where the Britons would end up. Yeah, no BF, no arena. Brazil probably could have picked BF as a home map against China. China is much more accustomed to the nomad maps than they are to the closed ones. Yeah, we don't even have Arabia. No, China banned Arabia. No do-it-yourself arena. Unless African Clearing becomes that, but that would be one sight to behold. Yes, Two Rivers actually has meaningful water action in it. Yep. You know, I was actually thinking, I think I mentioned this to Ornlu, but arena, but every player has their own safe pond in the back of their base. So you can fish boom. Like a BF pond with a few shorefish on it. All right, and here we go. And let's get the team name set. This is China A. This is Lix. This is Vivi. Blue will be on the top. And we'll have Brazil A. Dogao has little D. Fire and Goku don't get spaces in front of their names. And there we go. Capture Age is set up. And it's time for game number 1. In this best of 5, as we have some scout fighting already. We'll have Fire and Mr. Yo going at it on the flank. So the L shapes will go across the rivers in this setup. And the rivers will be fairly small with about 1 fish wide, not 3 fish. Mr. 30, oh no. I'm way too old for that. So X in the middle here from Lix. This is the question of where do you dock now? Do you go 2 and 2? Do you go 3 and 1? Do you just skip the dock and go on land if you're the Britons? You get all your sheep to click up quickly. And Dogao might be doing that with a super early boar lure. Luring the boar before the lumber camp. So he might be playing this like it were Arabia. And going for the fast up. 2 on wood. This is a custom map, yes. It's a very classic custom map, but a custom map nevertheless. At least it's not written as Mr. XXX. Oh, gosh. Anyway, we will have in the cool colors. Oh, actually, we won't have that because we have a lame already. Dogao trying to take Vivi's boar. And Vivi will try to stop that, block the boar, and occasionally get hits on the scout. The ideal thing you can do here is actually block the scout so that the boar attacks it. And it feels like scouts kind of path through each other in this version of the pathfinding. Stopping the lame is always a question of which version of pathfinding is the game using. Oh, and now Vivi is almost blocking the boar, being kind of successful there. And boar will get 1 more hit on Dogao's scout. Ooh, almost lost it there running around the house. And gets it in a decent spot there. So Dogao also will have one of his own boars, and he has scouted it. Out on the shorefish. Don't know if he's looking to dock. But lots of hills on wood now, so he might be looking to dock. And there we go. Anyway, as I was saying, we'll have Vivi in the blue as the Portuguese. In his pocket will be Tim in the green as the Franks. Then we'll have Lix as a Hindustani pocket. And finally, Mr. Yo as the Bohemians on the flank. Had to do an early loom. Might have been housed there somewhere. And then for Brazil, against Mr. Yo, will be Fire as the Ethiopians. So Bohemians, Ethiopians on this side. We'll have Goku as the Huns pocket. Miguel as the Cuban pocket. And then finally, Dogao as the Britons flank against the Vivi. Loom. Yes, early loom. Never feels good, but sometimes you gotta do it just to avoid... I was gonna say, we could see him being slightly below for a second, but I think lots of people have maybe a bit of idle time. Not just a second or so. I guess that's the fishing ship he has out. Yeah, that's gonna account for the loom then. The fishing ship will help make up for the loom. And Scout really can't fight the villager because of all the damage that it's taken already. We'll have the X from Goku paying attention to this dock from Lix. And the boar goes down under the TC there for Tim. Nice lure there. But already up to the feudal age is Fire. And even though he's probably known for his galley micro, oddly enough, Fire is electing not to dock on this map, and he's just going to be pressuring Yo quite heavily on land. Trying to use that aggressive build with the Ethiopians, putting down the barracks already. On the other side, we'll have Dogao just putting all the fills onto wood, and probably going for his back gold at some point. We'll see if he tries to fish or goes for a barracks. Looks like he is going to go for the fishing approach and try to get a second lumber camp, not taking any gold yet. An interesting approach by Dogao. I imagine he will need a barracks and then ranges at some point. And if not that, at least some walls. Fire up to Feudal. As the scout continues running about. And another X, that's Miguel calling out that Tim is placing a second dock up here, so probably thinking of going for some water. And everyone clicking up or getting up to Feudal just about now. Vivi going to be our last player to click, actually. Clicking up to Feudal very late, but going for some big walls. Hoping the walls would keep out any type of Feudal attack here from Dogao, and that Dogao would be focusing on the water, which it looks like he is. As a Vil that could get trapped, though. And manages to save her, but does now have a hole in his wall. With the galleys, though, he can probably fend off the scouts. Could get creative with how he gets the rest of his wall foundations up and probably keep that Vil safe. But Tim not going to be able to get the kill. And the scout is forced away. On the other side, we'll have an immediate tower on the gold from Mr. Yo, so fire won't be able to do too much damage there. And he's walled up across the rest of his map. And, well, maybe fire could get across the shallows there, but there are some galleys patrolling it. As Goku's going galleys on the other end of that river. And Dogao will be microing galleys against fire galleys. And Dogao doesn't quite have fletching yet. Goku has to be careful about his scout there. He doesn't want to lose that. There's a wolf in the middle of the shallows. How'd that get there? As the galleys come forward for Dogao, they're gonna run into Tim and take a pretty good engagement there against that one. Tim's trying to pull the weak ones back and repair. Dogao's just going to be able to micro, adding in a few more galleys now. And still hasn't walled and won't be punished for it as he goes to throw up some stone walls. So the lack of army from Vivi, just going for that fast castle heavy on stone. Looks like Vivi wants to do a castle drop into organ guns. Brayton's a Civ, I think, is probably one of the best for defending that, but you do have to get up and get your extra range. Have an X as some scouts from Miguel getting into the back of Vivi, but not really getting any kills. One of the scouts goes down. On the other side, does feel like Goku is pushing the water, maybe a few more. Actually, no, he's just more spread out than Lix. Lix actually has the numbers advantage there. It will be a fletching versus fletching here. As Goku now will fall back. Fire trying to poke and prod and find a way in with his archers, but Yo is well walled and throwing up a market already. Now as Dogao is fighting on the water, what's he going to do to stop Vivi? The answer is he's going to have a weak Vil out there and die while walling. And if this segment of wall doesn't go up, oh, Vivi's doing the castle at home. I was gonna say Vivi could just come forward and drop the castle right on his face. But he's going to be castling at home. Going for the safer option. Going for the tournament castle. And there's a skirmisher there from Fire trying to chase Mr. Yo. And goes down as Fire has to chase with a couple of archers too. And there we go, we have Castle Age for Miguel for our Cumin Boomer. And Miguel up to 46 villagers already with that TC. So we have an X there. They're aware that there is a castle here. Miguel has scouted it and is pretty on point with his scouts, just not able to do too much damage with them. There's enough vills that they can turn and fight, and the scouts are yet to be upgraded. And here comes the petard. Feudal Age wall, so the petard gets the organ guns right in, and that'll be a third organ gun from the rear. Dogao won't be able to wall behind that, and now he is in trouble. He needs to throw up a watchtower. This area near the dock wasn't walled, and, well, if Maxos likes his organ guns, he's gonna get them. Dogao still doesn't look like he's able to click up. Let's see how much damage can come in before Miguel is able to swap over to a knight push with the humans. And all those vills made it to the TC, and Dogao picked off the scout. That was interesting, and probably not how Vivi imagined that fight going. But he is still continuing to add in more organ guns from the rear. And just needs to be wary of that tower. We have Goku up to the Castle Age now, and also Fire just waiting on Dogao. He will be putting up a market. And Vivi and Miguel both using the market. Miguel adding in another TC. Looking to keep booming with the Cumans. And not really adding in too much cavalry just yet. You see that light, or that scout he added there, probably for picking off the monk, but the monk is nestled among the organ guns in a position of safety. Vil not quite getting the repairs in time, but doing his best to keep the organ guns alive. Up, monk goes down. And Miguel might be able to push this back. And Brazil with a bit of a score lead and a bit of a Vil lead so far. And we see a couple of Vils from Dogao. He was thinking Miguel wins that fight and he can re-wall, but not going to get out there in time. I'm sure Miguel would love to pick off that monk. It's pretty low on HP right now. And Fire up to the Castle Age. As he's not going to be able to stay fully walled, as it looks like Lix is able to push forward on the water a bit. But that being said, Goku's presence still is there. Goku with a few more ships doing ballistics right away as long as Bowsaw, and he'll pick off a couple of ships from Lix as they pop out and move forward. Fire with the Ethiopian sending his crossbows forward still. And the War Galley fight is commencing. We'll see if we get some CBA micro there. Oh yeah, we see this War Galley trying to tank and dodge the shots. Well, Lix did have ballistics, and now it comes down to dodging ballistics. And looks like Goku will win, and Lix will have to fall back. On the other side, though, it does look like Tim is finally winning the water here against Dogao, and Dogao is going to be pushed. He's trying desperately to wall up the wall, but will soon have a castle right on his face. Or maybe not. The knights from Miguel able to clean the organs so far. And the castle's not going to be on Dogao's face, but a bit farther back for Vivi. And we're still waiting for Lix. Lix has 45 Vils after losing the water. There's terrible micro from Lix. I'm more worried about this castle from Vivi. I think it could have been in his first spot. Wall the vills in and get it up, but of course easier said than done. So still full wall from Lix, but Fire wants to break him with crossbows, so Lix is going to have to wall behind. And House Foundation won't stay up for long as Fire gets in, but House did buy enough time for Mangonel to pop out. Now this comes down to micro from Lix. Can he get a good shot on the crossbows there? As in the south, it does feel like Goku won the water, while in the north, Tim won the water. And Knights will try to dive the Mangonel under the TC. Will they get it? Still there to repair, and they do get the Mangonel down. So Monk now from Lix to try to help defend against some of these Monk raids, even though there really aren't that many more coming in. I think the raiding is mostly done of Lix, more worried about Yo trying to defend against all these red crossbows. On the other side, though, it does look like Brazil has gotten in on Vivi, even though Vivi is in the middle of Dogal's base. And Miguel will try to be playing the Cumans as the Cumans, running his knights all over trying to raid. Now it's Tim's turn to be raided. Frank's pocket. You always want them to have a clean boom. Dealing with the raids is annoying for them. And Miguel will be walled out and won't be able to run to the other pocket, but can do enough damage here. Looks like the organ gun push has skipped Dogao completely. He has skipped Dogao and is just going for Miguel. As Miguel might need to share gold here with Dogao. And wait, here come more villagers. Here come more Vivi villagers. Is he gonna castle drop 635 stone? He's gonna castle drop Miguel somewhere. This TC goes down to the Organs. This one could be castle dropped like right here. Maybe you destroy that house and then you can castle drop both of them. That would be insane. Alright, but he's gonna go for another castle overlooking the gold. But overlooking a TC he just destroyed. So no more farmland there for Miguel. And Miguel's gonna throw up a defensive castle of his own. On the other side, it looks like there are some forward vills from Lix. Lix wants to come and hit Miguel too. As there's a couple of crossbows in the back, but we'll run into a scorpion. And Goku still firm control of the north end of this water, but hasn't scouted any of the redocking attempts by the Saracen player. We'll be aware of it now with that fire, perhaps. We're gonna see Mangonels on the way. And Yo is up to Imp, as China takes a score lead. Fires now for Lix in the southern water. Goku has to react to that by turning his fleet around. It's going to take a long time to amass enough fires to be effective here, but this will at least give China, or where is that? Oh, there. This will at least give China some space from which to attack. You keep the war galleys away from the coast, and you make it easier for your Mangonel to make it towards that TC and not get hit from over here. It has a larger zone where it can attack, especially if you end up adding multiple Mangonels. So Vivi will be mining stone from Miguel, but Miguel is up to the Imperial Age as the Cubans, and his trebs are popping. And does that mean Vivi's castle is soon going to be dropping? Well, it looks like Miguel's trying to chase down the organ guns with some knights. Doesn't really care much about that castle fire. And Lix might lose this position. Even though he has all the organs, he can't use them to pick off the trebs. Castles are so close together that these trebs can hide behind the castle, be safe, and treb from a distance. Miguel using the market like crazy. And a couple of trebuchets here for Miguel. Only good for later if he needs to besiege something. But now we'll have Goku up as Tim and Vivi both are getting up. 2 TCs so far, or 3 TCs for Vivi. We'll see. He's on 95 hills if he throws down a Fatoria when he gets up. As now another TC from Miguel is down. Miguel just about finished with Cavalier, but still on Knights for the moment. And now has Cavaliers. Perhaps they'll hold up better against the organ guns. We'll be able to kill them more. And oh, there they go. That's a lot of Vivi's push cleaned. But Tim has been free booming as the Hindustanis. I mean, as the Franks, like the Hindustanis. Tim has been free booming as the Franks. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stables for Cavalier production. And I'm soon that once that upgrades in, he'll be going straight for the Paladins. Doesn't quite have the resources for it now. But now he wants to put up a forward castle. Can't be right underneath Dogao's castle. So it'll have to be a bit farther back. On the left-hand side, though, it looks like Yo is pushing and taking out fires, starting TC, going forward with castles of his own. Taking out the crossbow and the farm, and looking to continue moving forward. As Vivi is up to the Imperial Age, this castle still alive, just barely hanging on. 8 fills won't repair against 2 trebs forever. And the castle goes down. Castle goes down, and the war galleys try to pick off some of Miguel's cav there. China is slightly pulling ahead in score and in vill count. I'm worrying now a bit about fire as the bombard cannons continue pushing in. Think about taking out that university. And here comes some Cavaliers from Goku. Will that be enough against the halves? And the cannon's trying to run to the safety of the corner of the castle, but 2 go down. Potentially a 3rd going down. And as the repair is trying to come in. And that will at least stall out Yo's push for the moment. To the right, Tim now is raiding with his Cavaliers. We have Paladin on the way for Goku, but also for Tim. And Hufnitsa over here for our great player, Mr. Yo, too. Dogao is up to Imp. Can he make something happen with it? The Zil players all are on at least decent military populations, but you can tell Fire and Miguel are struggling a bit. Even Dogao now dropping as Tim is in and raiding with Paladins. Dogao's trying to go longbows to defend. 6+3. Looks like he still needs some unique techs and upgrades. Now, Britain's usually a civ I like against the Poles, but looking at that eco difference, 127 to 88, these winged hussars and cavaliers will just be spammed forever as the trebs sit out of range and slowly work on taking out these castles. Crossbows take out the light cav. On the other side, the push from Yo somewhat stalled out. He does have the Hoofnitsa now, but has to worry about Goku's Paladins. Can't just move them in without fearing the Paladins running them down. And that leads to the castle going down because the Hoofnitsa couldn't pick off the Trebs. And now Halbs is trying as best they can to defend from the Paladins. The Arbs coming in. Hoofnitsa need one more shot. The Paladins are there. The Halb number is trying to help as the Trebs try to push this back. Maybe Brazil's okay over here, but here is the problem. Alright, Dogao running out of gold, desperately going for gates to trap in his longbows, opening the gates. And Jim doing everything he can with the Paladins, but can't get them inside of there. Nice little trick from Dogao. This is, think about this, underneath 2 castles here. And he does have the upgrades, but Brazil, they're going to call it as now Lix is coming forward and getting Imperial Camels into the middle of Miguel's base. So GG there, and in a bit of a back and forth game, China ends up taking game 1. Look at the stats, highest score overall for Tim. Military for Tim. Eco, Tim also had the best of almost everything there, but that's what happens when you're Frank's pocket. So that'll be China winning our first game. And we'll check off the civs. GG there. So that was Bohemians, Huns. Where are the Huns? Oh wait, that was Goku who is the Huns. There's Bohemians, Hindustanis, Franks, and Portuguese. Are they in this? There's the Portuguese. Where are the Franks? There they are. And then it'll be a loss with the Britons. That hurts. So Britons, Cumans, Ethiopians. And Huns. So stay tuned, we'll get into game number 2 coming up just next. They have the lobby being filled and looks like it'll be migration. All right, we'll have the next game launching in 90 seconds. It'll be on migration. And we'll have, for China, Aztecs, Japanese, Gujaras, Celts. This is where they'll be fitting in their Celts pick and also the Aztecs pick. And for Brazil, not using Lithuanians here on the flank, as much as fun as that would have been. There'll be Mongols on the flank. Okay, so Mongols, Persians, Byzantines, Burgundians. And I guess saving Mongols for Africa, or I mean, not using Mongols on African, clearing them. I thought, let me try that sentence again. Brazil not using the Mongols on African clearing, where I thought they would have been saving them, and instead opting for them on migration. And, oh, you know what? My flag is not in the right spot. Let me, I need to swap my browser source. Sorry about that. Fix that. I'll mess stuff up for a second, but then we'll be okay again. And this will be A, China A, the semis, best of 5. And now the flag will be in the right spot. There we are. I have fixed the overlay. Had my best of 7 overlay up for the flags. Alright, and we are launching now on migration. And here we are. So to the northwest in the warm colors, we'll have Dogao as a Mongol flank, immediately doing 2 houses. Miguel as the Byzantines pocket, Goku as the Burgundians pocket, and then finally Fire as the Persians flank. So Fire, very standard 2 houses, not going to go for the skip the house early dock build. On the other side, we'll have Yo as the Celts, Vivi as the Gujaras in the pocket, Tim as the Japanese pocket, and then finally Lix as the Aztec flank. I'm just going to double check to make sure everyone has 4 wood lines. The map is not bugged because they are pausing, and that has me worried. I see a sorry go from Dogao, and that was a fast pause. It's not like anything was broken. Ooh.
Yes.
He's got to worry about things being broken. Now, deer being pushed in from Dogao. And we'll get it nicely under that TC. So, of course, migration, you have your 4 deer and your 6 sheep and your berries. And you got to figure out how to click up with just those resources. And I'll catch up to real time after that pause as the lag will jump around a bit. That's what happens with pauses in Age of Empires. So, Dogao going not for the lumber camp yet, but instead chopping a straggler tree. I wonder if that's a strategy to get an early dock and skip the lumber camp. Or if he could just not be docking early on. Alright, so interesting build from the Mongols here. Might just be trying to find the perfect wood line. Oh, actually he hadn't scouted a forest because he was pushing deer. That's why he was taking the stragglers. Alright, so no special tricks up his sleeve, just wanted to prioritize pushing those deer early. And we'll get that one in towards the TC. And very nicely positioned, as he's going to move out to start docking now. Mongols, you think usually they get a fast up because of their hunt bonus, but only 4 deer, no boars on migration, so the bonus doesn't pay off as much as it does on a normal map. He will still be going for a forward dock, though. Yes, Celts and Aztecs themselves are not one of those super fast up Lithuanian Persian type civs where we'd seen even Mr. Yo before with Persians go for that 15 pop-up, 14 vills, the scout, and no fishing ships. To go as fast as he can for galleys and try to snipe the fishing ships off of the pocket. But this will be an interesting matchup in the middle. Japanese and Gujars against Byzantines and Burgundians. Personally, I think I prefer Byzantines and Burgundians as the pockets. But Japanese For Tim, certainly will have a very strong fish boom. And Gujar camels, how will they hold up against Byzantine camels, Byzantine halbs, arbs, potentially cataphracts? I don't know. Burgundians can go cavalier? Well, Burgundians must be making cavaliers, so camels. Well, is it that simple? You don't even need to make the camels, you start with one. This wonderful camel scout. Look at him riding that thing. Camels? Are you sure it's not that simple against the Burgundians? Byzantine camels could be interesting in the Castle Age. I think late game they will get wrecked by fully upgraded Gujar camels, but in the Castle Age they should have the numbers to take those fights. It's more than the Japanese player they'd be afraid of. If you do get to the situation where the two civs are just going halb arb, which might be a possibility for Byzantines and Japanese, maybe the Japanese might have an advantage with their halbs, but then Byzantine halbs are so much cheaper, and they also have the skirmisher option. Burgundians have stronger gunpowder. They could gunpowder. We have seen the Turks be useful as a pocket on this map, so perhaps a gunpowder could be a possibility, also from the Byzantines. But then again, the Gujaras also have gunpowder for whatever reason. The Gujaras just have everything. Burgundians, they could make pikemen. They could make maybe monks. I think that's how Leary played them for Austria. And I think that can be a fairly effective strategy. It's going to confuse the heck out of me with Byzantines being in the purple and Burgundians not being purple. Like, if you pick Burgundians, come on, you gotta do the campaign colors and pick purple. I think they don't have the great trash. They have great hussars, though. And if you're the pocket, that's usually the trash you want to make. And you have the Japanese player to make halbs. You don't gotta be making your own halbs. And, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This isn't going to be a standard game of migration. Lix is on the flank. China's going to be doing the thing they did the other week where the pocket Tim, as the Japanese, will be going up the feudal fast and going for galleys, where Lix, as the flank, will back dock, and he will go probably for a fast castle. You see the flank up slower than the pocket is. Or it might not be a fast castle, it might just be a transport ship into forward docks. Oh. Now, red is for the Britons. Red's for the Britons. Then Burgundy is purple, and the Franks are blue. And backup Franks are yellow. And backup Britons are orange. That's how the campaigns work. And then cyan is there if you need another color for some reason. China has a few tricks up their sleeves. That's what Lix is specializing for. 2 vills with loom so the wolves don't harass them. Walking over, and he's going to dock and attack the pockets. Whereas Vivi will be the player who just fish booms and goes to the middle to try to control it. And Lix will be there to help transport too. Cyan. I think Cyan was the Khmer campaign too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he'll be doing the market in the middle. We have some X's here from Goku. I don't know what he's Xing. He has no vision of the middle, but he's just Xing there. I think that's saying where the edge of the land is, saying maybe they gotta transport to those locations. But if Lix can get a fast castle fire ship and keep the docks hidden, he might be able to kill a lot of fish. So a few galleys out now from Tim. And it'll be Tim's job to make sure that Lix's fish stay alive. And as though Gal's like, huh, Lix didn't dock in the front. He didn't dock on the side. Where'd this guy dock? He docked really far in the back. Looks like he might have had a brief engagement with Tim, but I think Brazil know what is up already. Tim is there. He's gonna know things are safe for Lix. Will Miguel spot these villagers in the dock with his fishing ship? No KOTD today? There is KOTD today. I think Unlu and Mem are both casting that. I'm casting Nations Cup today. So everyone getting up to feudal. And docks being constructed for Lix. Fire galley on the way out. And as he gets to the castle age, he'll probably have 2 to 3 fire galleys and then immediately the fire ship upgrade queued. And looks like he might be housed for a moment, needs a panic house so he can make the fire galley. There he is housed, oh no. Lix, build a house! Make a house! There we go, there's the house. So, stable in the middle. Lix's Eagle won't be able to deny that, but 2 vills there for Goku. One of them low HP. And outside the house, the Eagle tries to get him. He quick walls himself in. The villager managing to save himself. That fishing ship extra line of sight bonus? Was that ever a bonus? The Malay have bigger line of sight on their docks, and the Japanese have bigger line of sight on their galleys as the team bonuses. And there's a third dock there from Lix, as he'll be going for the forward fires and looking to pick off the... Oh, if he can destroy the transport ship, that would be insane, and Miguel couldn't make it to the middle. He's looking to kill all of Miguel's fish there. He's not going to care about these fire galleys. He's just going to go for the fire ships and try to kill the fish, and at that he'll be doing an amazing job. Losing some HP there. We see Miguel trying to block as he runs his fish, but Lix, these fires destroy those fish way too fast. I do wonder, though, if maybe he should be fighting the fires and trying to keep Miguel's numbers down while he'll still have the advantage there. This one now just becomes a scout. And maybe he needs a demo or 2 to deal with all of these Byzantine fires. Because remember, these are Byzantine... And there's the demo. These are Byzantine fire galleys. Even in feudal, they're still deadly. And we're getting gill nets. And this is Lix's decision to go only after the fish and not after the fires. Maybe that'll come back to haunt him, as now Miguel is up and he has a lot of Byzantine fire ships. And when Lix had an advantage and might have been able to fight earlier, he wasn't, and he was fully concentrated on the fish. Now that's going to mean we have 2 players on the middle, and we'll also have the fire is able to come down and help against Tim on the flank. Tim, who needs to micro against Dogao. These are still relatively even numbers here. I actually wouldn't mind Lix adding in a couple of fires from this back dock to come and support Tim for a few moments. And the girl galley fight, those are some low HP fire ships, but they are at least still in the castle age, so Tim might be able to snipe them off if he wanted to. Tim maybe not checking their HP. Taking out that one fire probably would have been really good for him. He's just trying to take out Dogao's numbers as well as he can. And, well, Tim doing okay so far, but here comes another round of fires, and he won't be able to fight that. As the... now that Dogao is over it, the Brazilian team is starting to get their TCs up on the middle, just missing the transport over from Fire. As Fire, it looks like he's maybe breaking through in the south, but Yo is up and adding in War Galley, and should be able to keep defending for the moment. Yo did go for the back docks, not the very front dock. Tim trying to do War Galley, but he's going to be 1v2 on the water now. And Lix's strategy, well, did it really pay off? It's going to be only now 5 and 3, so a total of 8 fishing ships on this flank versus the 14 here for Miguel and 3 still for Dogao. So I think Lix's strategy didn't quite pay off, but if it gives Vivi even just a slight advantage in the middle, maybe he can do something with it. But does he even have that slight advantage in the middle? Lix trying to go for some Monk and Mangonel pushes, but can Trivamp Riders really stand up against Kustier? I think not. They can run away from them real fast. I don't think they can fight them. Another monastery for Lix, and he might lose his vills, has to wall them in. I like Lix squandered his opportunity. Yeah, that was all just about Lix going for the fish instead of going for the fires. If he's able to get maybe one demo ship out and take some good fights with the castle fires against the feudal fires, yeah, Miguel still has fish, but it's going to be hard for him to then pump out fires and retake the water when Lix has an advantage. And then Lix can snipe the fish, even if he eventually loses. He just needed to stay alive there longer. And now Brazil has all the water on the right-hand side of the map. They're starting to boom in the middle. It is 54 villagers for Miguel with the Byzantines. Dogao will have up a defensive castle for him, and this is almost feeling like it could be Imperial Age time for the Byzantines. We'll see if he wants to go up fast, but now up to 73 total eco population. That's all he really needs. His resources are just about there. Treasure attack doesn't work versus buildings? I don't believe so. Oh, nice monk conversions there. Kustier not killing the Vil. And with the monks, Lix is now back to adding in more monasteries, trying to just Aztec his way to a victory. And gets another conversion. But castle on his workshop now. That's going to take that out. Fire and Yo still neck and neck on the side, but Yo with 2 TCs in the middle. Fire is still stuck on his home island. He's at 50 Vils to 58, but Yo has the TCs to add in more. And still a galley fight, but maybe Fire has the numbers there. Yo's fish getting a bit far forward on 3 docks, but he can't really run the fish to the back because Vivi's already fished all the back fishes. Would have to get a front dock, and Zelda is not going to let him do that easily. And he's going to get a few fires of his own to try to have another unit mixed into this fight. They're doing a pretty good job. And we'll do a lot of damage to these galleys as they try to fall back. And we'll help to get rid of Fire's war galley numbers a bit. But once you get a lot of war galleys, you can start really shooting down the fires. And I think Fire has won this side. So nicely done by him. In the middle, we'll have Goku going for another castle towards the middle. The Gajar player trying to go for camels. How do camels do against Kustier? I think that's more of an it depends thing depending on the numbers. In the north, it is now Mangudai for Lix, as we have a lot of monks. I mean, Mangudai for Dogao, as we have a lot of monks from Lix, so maybe eventually it'll be Mangudai for Lix if he gets the conversions in. But with the defense of Dogao, Lix isn't going to be able to push that TC, lost the Mangonel immediately to the Mangudai. He's just going to turn his attention over to Goku and set his sights on this outlying TC, as he gets up another outpost to try to keep the area scouted. And Mangonel is going to town on that TC. He's going to try to eat it with a second Mangonel on the way. Don't see many reinforcements from Dogao. In the middle, the camels continue skirmishing with the Kustier. See the camels as being better. Yeah, I don't really know. I think a lot of it depends on the micro. I think if you get your fully upgraded camels with frontier guards, then I think you're in a good spot with the Gajars, especially if you get the upgrade to make their food count, or the food cost cheaper. And castle now from Vivi in the middle of the map. And on the left-hand side, ooh, Vivi getting in with the camels, and we'll be taking out the Vils around the TC of Fire, denying him that second TC in the middle. Fire does, of course, have one TC up, and they are Persian TCs, so they are pretty tanky, but losing that Vil production from the faster working TCs hurts. And that's going to let Yo come forward with a push. And at the same time, Lix's Monk Rush is doing some damage to Goku. Miguel up to 73 Vils, but will he be able to make the transition to Imp in time? Mangonel is trying to take away the monks. Lix trying to micro this away, but now his push is stopped and cleaned as Dogao is able to come over with the Mangudai, and he could form a combination with the Kustier. But we still do have Vivi pushing from the south, and Mr. Yo going for the castle right on Goku's TC. But Dogao gonna come over and try to deny this. Will this be a doubt castle? A doubt castle here might be able to end the game in favor of Brazil. We'll see how the Mangudai do at denying this, as they have to dance around the camels, but camels go down, and now the Vils have to fall back for Yo. That castle is not going up. Next is just a cheerleader for the next few minutes. Well, he does have 50 Vils at least. It's not like he's crippled, but he's lost so much of his fishing eco, and now Fire from the opposite side of the map is sailing around. And it's only Vivi who now has fish, but the fish are very inefficient at this point. And, well, time for a castle drop. Fire is saying, Yo, get off the middle. I'm going to drop a castle right on your face. But he's going to have to delete the castle, as now heavy camels are in for Vivi. And it's up to Vivi now to carry this game for China as the Gujars. But he's getting to the elite Shramshrider. He has the unit he wants, those Gujar camels. Doesn't have frontier guards yet. But could these camels be enough to carry the game? He has 104 villagers. Miguel on 120. And he is in the Imperial Age of the Byzantines, but he really isn't on the middle. And what is Miguel doing? I think Miguel needs some military. He could be slinging. Oh, he's slinging Dogao. That's what he's doing. He's an imp, so you can sling, and he's slinging Dogao to go Mangudai. I can't help but think maybe Byzantine Halbs would have been more useful against the Gajars than Mangudai. What matter versus Pierce attack? It'll matter when you're fighting the Kustier. And underneath two castles, Vivi is continuing to push. The camels coming in, the Vils there trying to hop into the second castle as the first one is going to go down. Halbs are now out for Mr. Yo. As the Celts, he has a clear objective, and that is to make his speedy Halbs. The Net Trebs working on the next castle here from Goku, as the camels here from Vivi are a unit that, it's always an it depends, but camels can fight Mangudai. Shramshriders probably can too. We're going to have a castle race in the east as 3 Vils from Vivi will beat 0 Vils from Dogao. And the teams probably need to send over more villagers, but it looks like that'll go up. Lix will try to support with his Aztec Mangudai as best he can, as he's on his way to Imp with 60 population. Still has monks and workshops forward, he's just trying to be annoying. And is Miguel doing all this stuff? Miguel is slinging. Miguel is slinging Dogao and Goku. He's the Byzantines, and he wants his other 2 players with the more powerful, unique units to try to take the game. But here are the Gujar camels getting in now into Goku's economy. And, well, if Mr. Yo can push and have enough of a push that he can hit Goku too, and it's just a 1v1 between the Gujars And the Mangudai player, that's probably a situation where the Gujaras can do okay. Yeah, and Yo's adding in his halbs. He'll have those great Celt halbs for fighting the perhaps lacking Burgundian ones. Looking at the blacksmith upgrades, much better for Yo on the halbs. Or I guess kind of the same. He has the armor, but he's missing the attack upgrades. And fire up to amp. Miguel still slinging, or Goku being pressured. We'll have a castle for Lix. Lix up to 70 Vils, and he's about to contribute to this game. More Shrivampshrider raids coming in on Dogao. Dogao with double castles trying to stay on Mangudai. I do wonder, could a big Shrivampshrider push be able to deal with the Mangudai? And for now, it looks like they're holding up okay. We need a lot of Mangudai to fight this. And even if they're not going to kill Mangudai, they will provide room for the... I was going to say for the Trebs to destroy the castle, but the Mangudai are there in the back. They're going to kill 1, 2, and potentially 4 Trebs if they come forward. And the Trebs probably need to run more, but... Maybe we'll get the surround with the Shrivampshriders, and we have another pause. Oh, there go Brazil. See, it's Tim pausing. And, well, fire is up, and now that he's up, he can start popping out those Trebs, and we'll have a continuation shortly. But Yo is up already, and he has his Trebs. He'll be at the advantage in the numbers and is already besieging Fire's castle in return. He's also making some rams, because of course he is the Celts, and he has a lot of Trebs out. A total of 6 Trebs, and is now adding in a ram. Atlatl Skirm's going to come in for Lix. Something to help him try to deal with the Mangudai, I think. And they might be looking to just knock fire off of the middle as Shrivampshriders are coming in. And might be looking to hit the Vils that are trying to attack the ram. Trebs will be finishing off these TCs. And that's huge if you can knock the player off the middle. Now that the castle's down, Yo could send even a few Woad Raiders over there to deal with the Trebs. And try to do transport ships and raid. That is a thing they could do. China all deleting their TCs aside, or at least Vivi and Tim deleting their TCs for mills so they don't keep training Vils on their home islands. Brazil with the score lead. And I still don't know. It feels like maybe Vivi has enough. That the other players on China are getting up to the next stage in time. I mean, all these games on migration have been super interesting to watch. Especially when you get teams doing different strategies. We had Lix with that forward dock. And now Miguel with the sling. As inferior unit composition. And that's the thing, if Brazil were able to get to all their upgrades and have, say, Mangudai plus Byzantines plus Burgundians, I think they would have the better composition. But they just can't get there. Especially not with Miguel slinging. You can give Dogao a good massive Mangudai. You can chase them with the Shrivampshriders. We see the stable being deleted so that Vivi can get better surrounds. And he's going to try to take out as many of those Mangudai as he can, garrisoning the TC on the other side in case the Mangudai wander in there. But Shrivampshriders don't have the most attack. Will take a while to whittle down the Mangudai numbers, but still, I think you're more than happy to trade Shrivampshriders for Mangudai. The Shrivampshriders just aren't that same type of power unit. And the Mangudai, well, a lot of them went down, but some of them are still alive. And we have now the Halbs and Mangudai on the western side going to push fire and... Or going to push Yo back away from fire a bit, maybe take out some of these castles. And fire has had to reposition his eco more to the north on the middle. So overall build lead for China up by about 70. Kill 58 fishing ships. That's what you get when you're slinging. Look at his majestic fish boom here. Have more castles from Dogao as well. If he loses his castle, that's his Mangudai production. He has rams against the skirms of Lix. Is this where Lix adds in just any type of melee unit? Some Jaguar warriors, perhaps? Even some Garland Wars pikemen just to deal with the rams. And as the Shravamtriders pick off this Treb, and the Trebs start to work on this next castle, that might signal the end where soon Dogao has only one castle standing. And the Mangudai really don't want to fight the Atlatl Skirms. 3+5 is a big Pierce attack, and it will overcome a lot of armor there. And down goes the castle. China's now in a pretty firm score lead. Speedy Ferrari Rams trying to come forward for Dogao. The Trebs moving forward for the Lix. That looks like a misclick. That looks like a big misclick. Don't send your Trebs into Mangudai. You know what Goku needs to do? Press the button? No, I should have removed the button from the map scripts. That would have been lovely. Tim will be adding in keeps. We'll probably be going for those Yasama towers. And the Shravamtriders just want to do some more raiding. Miguel never really able to get up to 200 pop this game, even with all the fishing ships. And there is the GG call. As in another crazy game of migration, Dogao not able to carry with the Mangudai, as Vivi leads China to victory with the Cumans and a lot of Shravamtriders and Camels. Vivi will have the overall highest score there. Military-wise, 380 kills. Took a lot of losses, but the Gujars are cheap. They can replace them. Good job by Dogao, but it wasn't enough. And again, they led in 3 resource categories other than wood. And the most APM goes to Dogao. And, well, remember, Brazil, they were down 0-2 against Germany, then came back and pulled off the reverse sweep. So don't count them out. But winning on Brazil's home map of migration, especially when Brazil clearly had that planned sling strategy, a nice feat. And even after Lix's initial push might not have worked out all that well. But Brazil will now pick their next home map of Team Islands. And we'll take a quick break, then get into game number 3. Oh, and I checked the overlay wrong. That is China winning that game on migration. Yeah, that's a good point, too. Vivi even collected more res, while Miguel was collecting res and slinging when Miguel had only eco. And you also remember to check off the civs. Now you need to remember what they were. So it's a win with the Gujars. They also had Celts. They had Japanese. And what was their final civ? Aztecs. Aztecs for Lix. Then for Brazil, that was a loss for Byzantines, Burgundians. They didn't use Lithuanians. What were the two flank civs there? Was Persians and Mongols, right? Mongols for the Mingidai, and then Persians. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, there we go. Persians, I always feel like they're awkward transitioning to the middle. Now, Team Islands underway. We'll have about 90 seconds left in the spec delay. What are the civs here? For China, we'll have Italians, Sicilians, Bulgarians, and Koreans. Oh, great flanks in Italians and Koreans. They did use Portuguese already. Kind of a weird choice not putting them on Team Islands, but it did work out for them. For Brazil, Malay, Bengalis, Poles, and Saracens. That's a very interesting composition, and maybe the Poles and Saracens will be going for a double landing. And remember, after this game, if Brazil wins, China will then have nomad and African clearing. And taking 2 games from China on those maps will be a very big challenge, even if Brazil can win on Team Islands. Hello, Diddy Dink. Could this be a 3? It could be. I'm sure Brazil wouldn't like that, but it could be. And here we are on Team Islands. We will have China to the south. Yale will be the Koreans on the flank with their cheaper, or with their wood discount now applying to their dock units. We'll have Lix as the Bulgarians in the pocket. Usually either the landing civ or the civ that defends against the landings, but they still have a decent-ish navy. Vivi will be the Sicilians. Again, one of the best landing civs there is. And then finally, Tim is the Italians on the flank. For Brazil, we'll have Miguel as the Malay on the flank with Dogao as the Saracens pocket. Then we'll have Goku as the Poles in the pocket with Fire as the Bengalis on the flank. Now, Brazil has had many different ways of playing Team Islands. They have gone for a Malay landing where they end up going elephants, which was a lot of fun. I don't know if it's good, but it certainly is fun. Saracens as the pocket will have faster firing galleys if it comes to the late game, also their farms. Bengalis will have trade that gives food over time, or if it goes late. So if Brazil can hold on and force it to a late game where they have a decent position, I'd imagine that, well, their Bengali trade would really pay off for them. Is it better than the Koreans' wood discount? Maybe, because remember in Imp, not only do the Koreans save wood, but they also get shipwright. They're probably the best Imperial Age flank civ. Just with how cheap their galleons are, and how much wood do they save, and how quickly they can pump them out. And also, remember they have great towers with extra range. A unique tech gives them some extra range in their keeps. We see Tim, I think he's Xing the lion, telling his team there's a lion there that they need to beware. And Ostrich being pushed in here by Tim. And Vils will get that right by the TC. And Lix will be looking to wall up. And we're going to see this a lot on Team Islands. Players committing to walls early on to keep themselves safe. We do see a scout going forward and a Vil going forward for Lix as the Bulgarian, so that looks like a forward dock for a transport ship and a landing. Vivi will be going to the back with his dock. So maybe then it'll be Vivi's role to defend against the landing, make some scouts at home, transport them across later. And Lix's job just to go for the initial landing. Meanwhile, we see two back docks here from Brazil, both from Goku and Dogao. Look at this coastal road here. Going all the way around to connect the teams up. Yeah, more straightforward road here for the China team, but Brazil has this nice huge road across the front of their islands. Oh, it's cute how those things spawn. But we will indeed have the back docks for Brazil and one front dock for China, so I guess you'd expect nothing less from Lix. You'd expect him to be doing the landing and be doing the shenanigans.
Hey.
You see front-ish docks from Brazil, not all the way around the side like we're used to seeing, but also the shapes of the island kind of determine that. Oh, also, I gotta check the relics. Where are the relics? Do we have a fair distribution of the relics this game? There's one, two, and we need a third relic for Brazil. Help me find the third relic. Let's make sure the map isn't bugged. And hello, Witted Gnat. So we've seen those two. For China, it'll be 1, 2, and there's got to be a third for each team. It's 3, so there's 3 for China. I'm not seeing a fourth for them, but we got to find a third for Brazil. 1. 2. Those two I know about. 2 to 3? Oh, 3. Yes, okay. 3 and 3. Whew, I was worried there for a moment. It was near the gold on the minimap, so the white doesn't show up. But the map is not bugged, yes. So everyone will be up to feudal, but Miguel as the Malay will be up first. And these are very close docks. And I don't think they know how close they are, even with the extra line of sight on the Malay docks. Actually, he'll know that now when the fishing ships come by. And Malay might be able to get some early kills on Tim. Even though Tim's the Italians, he's not quite up the same way as the Malay. And for Miguel, there is no delay. Immediately the galleys will come out and start to work on Tim's fish. Tim, as of yet, is none the wiser. Does not yet know that his designs hold any flaw, but there is the pair of galleys. And Tim will be running his fish and losing some too. You could start with fires when they're that close, yes. But I don't think there's anything wrong with opening galleys here. And galleys will be better at killing the fish, indeed. There's 3 down and 1 more that just has to run. Meanwhile, Lix, though, is going for the landing. And it looks like Goku has a spear. He is in the position to defend from the landing. There are a couple of men-at-arms, though, as Lix in the cyan color wants to go teach this Brazil team a lesson with his new men-at-arms that he gets for free, or that he gets the upgrade for them for free. So as a reaction to this, Fire going to be walling up his map, going very concisely to the TC, and needs to get those 3 pieces of palisade up. He realizes maybe that's not going to happen, and he goes for a gate behind them. Just needs to keep the men-at-arms out, as the tower will go up now for the Licks, and tower that will even be a bit annoying near the edges of this wood line. On the water, Tim certainly is down, and Miguel still has his fish working. So look for Miguel as the Malay to have a faster castle age time than Tim as the Italians. On the other side, things are looking a bit less aggressive. The docks are farther apart, and Fire and Yo once again will be engaged in a galley war, similar to what they were doing last game. And Yo trying to be really aggressive with his galleys and pick off as many fires as he can, but with the docks and the reinforcement advantage, Fire should eventually win that fight. He might lose some fish, though. There's 1 going down, and still has 3 alive, though. So it's 3 versus 3. That evens up the fish count. And looks like Yo is thinking that he wants to run around the back and snipe off a couple of fish from the pocket. On the left, now it looks like Miguel's turn to have his fish sniped. He has a scout maybe trying to help out with the tower rush. Looks like Goku will have that tower cleaned up as Fire went for his own defensive one. And now Fire making a fire. Against small numbers of galleys, that'll work out okay. And Miguel, he's losing his fish on the front a bit because he decided to run around the back and try to snipe the pocket fish, so he didn't have his galleys there to fight Tim. And he's on his way just trying to find those fish. As the tower here will eventually go down for Lix, but ooh, he's losing the Vil. But still has a barracks. Only a barracks, though. No follow-up stable or archery range. Just the barracks for the men-at-arms, spears, and tower. And horse collar on the way for Yo. So he's going to be adding in some farms. As Fire added in a couple of fires, that's interesting. Usually they just lose to the galleys in feudal. So early horse collar for Yo, that'll affect his uptime. And perhaps with only 3 fishing ships, he might otherwise struggle to have enough food to click up without the farms. In fact, it's kind of around the time flanks could be clicking up to the castle age if they wanted to. And galleys will be picking off the fish. And War Galley upgrade on the way for Dogao. In the back, Miguel now picking off fish from Vivi. So his win against Tim on the flank really paying off. Miguel, such a great job as the flank here. Disaster, Tim in the back. Tim's in the back too. But look at the fish. Still 9 and 6 for both the pockets. Doesn't look like Tim will get too much damage done. Everyone on Brazil, they just have a mini rainbow here, as Goku and Dogao even have fires here. And fire is ready to block and help Miguel chase. So Tim not going to get too much damage done here in the back. Certainly not as much as Miguel has done, where we have now 0 fishing ships for Vivi. And more towers here from Lix, as I see another transport. But it feels like Goku is prepared to help clear them. You know, yeah, the mini rainbow defense. Well, is he prepared to help clear them, though? It's a couple of spears there. He has his own spears. And those scouts are not at full HP. And with only 1 man-at-arm there, I wonder if this is a situation where Fire can just rush this with his villagers. As we'll have now Yo with those farms clicking up. Fire even gets a couple more fishing ships from Yo. Fire himself, though, no fish. And that might hurt his uptiming, especially with this Trush coming in. And Castle Age will also be in from our Sicilians player Vivi. He'll have a scout over at... Yeah, I'll have a lot of scouts over as he's doing the armor for the scouts. He already has bloodlines in the attack upgrades. He's going to try to find something around Miguel's base that he can hit. There is a wood line, not yet quick wall. There are some vills on the stragglers near the TC. There is a hole that Miguel notices. And Miguel has these walls set up. We'll wall out a couple of vills almost, but nothing too bad for him there. That vill... Oh, he gets the vills saved and walled in. So Lixie gets in, but Miguel is able to react to it properly. Vill counts are still dead even. And this will be another tower from Lix. Lix is trying to be as annoying to Fire as he possibly can be. And, well, if he can be annoying, that then results in Yo as the Koreans fighting against Goku as the Poles, basically. Goku getting out with scouts and continuing to try to clear these forward vills from Lix. Lix just keeps sending more vills forward when he loses them. And tries to quick wall them in. But, losing the Palisade, didn't have the HP on it, and won't finish the Blacksmith there, as that is 1 tanky Vill, but he will go down. And now Fire just moving to his back gold. He's up to the Castle Age, and soon he'll be able to make back TCs, maybe on the gold, maybe on the stone, or on a wood somewhere, and then be safe from all of the towers. This would be a great TC location right in those trees if it fits, and then you clean up the tower with it, but probably would lose some vills going for that with the tower there. Was thinking because pathfinding is protecting him? Pathfinding not going to protect those scouts and those spears as they're trying to take out the barracks. And they've almost gotten it down. And down it goes, a couple of knights there from Goku as Goku takes the score lead as the Poles. But not as high as Mr. Yo, though. Yo really winning this water now against Fire. With all that pressure Fire was under from Lix, that gave Yo the advantage on the water, not necessarily because of Galley Micro, but because Fire had to be spending his resources on units other than galleys. Now we'll have one big galley versus war galley fight where Fire might still have the numbers, and now he has an upgrade. We'll see if the fires from Fire are effective there. And looks like he was able to come back and actually push Yo here. See, no, Yo probably needs another round of reinforcements to group up. Or at least one, maybe even more. On the left, just feels like Brazil is dominating the water. Tim wants to sneak a few more galleys past, but Miguel spots that and is on point with the defense. And now some defensive fires from Dogao, as Tim gets the war galleys, but also gets them trapped. And won't really be able to kill too many fish with that, only 2 making it through the lines. Lix's tower is still forward, but they are being cleaned up by Goku, who has a few knights out now. We'll be cleaning 2 of them, and then there's 2 more for him to hit. He's Xing the middle, as now we have a landing of camels here. Or actually, no, not a landing of camels, a landing of pikemen that'll be cleaned up by the camels. Light cav here from Goku, still cleaning up the landing, as it feels like Miguel's still taking decent fights against him. Tim not giving up water, but tough task facing Miguel. It's actually, look at that, no ballistics for Miguel. And without ballistics, Tim has it. Tim can take much better fights. Where is the university? For Miguel, I don't think he has one. Tim does, and oh, that's going to be huge in some of these fights. That means Tim can run and not take losses, whereas Miguel has to chase and get hit. Dogao, though, helping out, and it's nice to be in that 2v1 situation. Brazil, slight lead in Vils. And they've mostly cleared up Lix. Now, Fire is winning on the right. And Yo is thinking of defending his docks with towers, but might lose Vils trying to get them up. Might not have sent enough of a village to raise that, and it stopped at 79%. This is where he could just send everyone to rush that up. That still would be a pretty big risk for him in terms of potentially losing villagers just to get a tower up. He needs to make a decision soon, though, because it's losing HP. You could coincide the rush with some demos popping out of the docks. That might be his option. But looks like he's just going to rush it at the same time as a couple fires come out. And there he goes. Needs to repair and then garrison inside. But he does get the tower up to defend the docks. And Fire, though, he is not content with just killing Yo. He wants to sail around and see whether Vivi has any more fishing eco here, which, well, he has 9 fishing ships. Some of them are, actually, most of them are in front, though. He only has 3 back here. That's why I couldn't see them when there were 9. And the landing is now mostly cleared. Camel's just taking out palisades. And Brazil able to come forward and start pushing the docks. Feels like Tim just keeps trying to sneak around but accomplishes nothing with his sneaks. We still do have 8 fishing ships here for Dogao. None for Goku, though. Tim has 1 galley back there. 1 war galley. And I see an armored elephant from Fire. What is that for? Why is Fire making an armored elephant? Oh, there's Yo up to Imp, but so is Dogao. And around the back, War Galley going to finish for Vivi, as he's going to look to get up a castle on the front and then add in some docks. Now remember, those Sicilian castles always go up. He's doing ballistics and fletching, and the Imperial Age is on the way. And there we are, guard tower in for fire. And we'll have Schlachter privileges for Goku as Goku wants to land. Probably add in some stables and then Schlachter his knights all over China's island. 10 out of 10. Great upgrade for the transport ship, and the Vils are hopping on. One day, we'll have the ability to add stuff to transports easier. But for now, Goku just coming forward. And there is the stable. Dogao and Goku with huge scores. China trying to wall this off. And Yo actually trying to come over. Might kill most of these villagers. Oh, how did that miss? And wait, that's not... Wait, yeah, that is Yo. Yo base. As the Knights are trying to break in. Yo is still walling out. Looks like Vivi wants to fight with some pikes. Getting his pikes out and ready to fight the Cav. And, well, good position here for Goku at the top of the hill. Yo's gonna try to drop a castle right in the middle of this landing. But with what army will he drop that castle? He's just gonna send a whole village to try to raise it. And will he get it up in time? Can the Cavaliers kill the villagers fast enough? Can they kill the Vils fast enough? There is now 7 Cavaliers. And Yo is right-clicking the castle like a madman, but right-clicking constantly slows it down. 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and it goes up. And it just manages to go up. As Goku will keep trying to add in the stables. And, well, Yo probably needs to add a bit of stone wall before the Cavalier get in. They get in. And indeed, it takes a village. And he just managed to get the castle created. At what cost? Well, we see he's down to 69 eco units. 69 villagers. So he must have lost about 20 or so there. It cost all but 2 of them. That will provide some nice defense, provided he also walls the passage down there. He got knocked down to a nice amount. And now in the eco, the Cavaliers from Goku are getting their raids, but Lix from the barracks adding in a pikeman has a couple of dismounted Konniks, and Vivi has out a few halberdiers that should work to help repel these, but there's a hole in the wood line. There's always a hole. And Vivi now has his farmers and gold miners exposed to these Cavalier raids from Goku. One of them super low on HP. But the rest are going to do a good bit of work. And getting a few villager kills here and there. As Vivi now sending a few halbs to try to clean this up. Now, Schlachter privilege Cavalier are cheap, but they're not free. And Yo still feels like he might be having water control over here, as the Koreans wouldn't actually mind a cannon galleon or two for taking out that castle. We'll have another landing from Goku as he tries to make another castle. This one will be in the line of sight of China, but they're not yet reacting to it. Dogao has such a huge score with the Saracens and his faster firing galleys. And Dogao continuing to push, trying to get into Yo. And at the same time, okay, the stables are still there, but Dogao able to take out the castle. Yo not able to keep that up. I was thinking maybe Yo could get cannon galleons to clean the stables, but nope, this castle just goes down. And there's 2 stables left over there. And potentially more over on the left-hand side against Goku. In the back, more fire is coming out for Vivi. And China may be starting to pull their way back if they're able to clear these landings. And then rely on the strength of the Koreans on the water. But Dogao, 73 military population right now. At 62 galleons, he's ready to take these fights, and Yo just isn't. Yo just going too far forward and melting as he tries to fall back behind that keep. Now, definitely doesn't have the army size he needs, and his cannon galleons are being pushed back from fire. And this might be it. This might be Brazil's win. They still do have Bengali trade, even if they make a mistake. As the castle for Vivi goes down, and now the Obuki and Trebs can keep pushing. Now Tim trying to push on the left. With the help of Vivi, it will 2v1 Miguel for the moment. Dogao not quite in position to help there. Needs to bring his Saracen galleons over from the middle. But Miguel able to hold his own. And the farther Miguel goes back, the better engagement Dogao will be able to take. And he's able to start taking out the fires and shooting at the galleons. And there Tim has to fall back, as we'll have a forward castle now from Goku building over the remains of Yo's castle. As Yo doesn't have much eco left, he's relying on Lix to defend him. It really does look like Brazil has won this. And Dogao not fighting with all of his ships at the same time. That's where Team Islands being so close to the edge of the map can hurt, but there is the GG from China, as Brazil gets themselves on the scoreboard, winning Team Islands, but now has to face China on Nomad and African clearing. So we'll check out the scores. Landing from Lix, not really that effective, only 54 kills in total. Goku did the most with 245. Eco Tree, best for Dogao. Tex, fastest imp was also Dogao. Most Vils was Vivi. And APM goes to Mr. Yo this game. And that will be Brazil winning their home map. Casual 64-0 building destruction ratio. Yeah, real casual there. Never lost a dock. And we'll update my score. I think must have clicked something wrong there. It is 2-1 for China. And for the civs, so that was a win with, of all civs, Pole and Saracen pockets, then a Malay flank and a Bengali flank. And then for China, that was a loss with Koreans and Italians. That hurts. And Sicilians. Then finally their last civ was Bulgarians. And China on Nomad, big yikes indeed. Looks like they did indeed pick Nomad as their home map. If Brazil does somehow win this, then they also have to get through China on African clearing. So they have lobby up and should be getting started any moment now. All right, and Nomad. Brazil with a big task ahead of them, needing to get a win against China on Nomad. China will have the civs as we have about a 2.5 minutes spec delay now of Slavs, Berbers, Malians, and Vietnamese. Brazil will have Spanish, Turks, Lithuanians, Incas. Well, I mean, pretty good civs for both teams. Feels like Slavs, Incas just kind of thrown there because I need to put them somewhere. But Lithuanians, Turks, Spanish, Malians, Vietnamese, and Berbers all pretty good for China. Never want to count out Spanish on Nomad. Brazil did take them with their second pick. Turks, Lithuanians. Well, Lithuanians have a great start on Nomad with their 150 food. So it makes sense that they'd use them here. And if it comes to African clearing, Brazil would then have Burmese, Khmer, Tatars, and Goths. China would have to use Teutons, Magyars, but then have Chinese and Mayans. So probably better civs for China. Do they get +2 after the initial TC? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so, but maybe they do. I don't think so, though. They did Tatars, Incas. Oh, that'd be great. +3 sheep, Tatars, Incas. Imagine if the Incas team bonus was +1 llama per TC. Oh, the Gujaras must really like having an Inca teammate. Now with the team bonus. Ah, that's Spanish music. So it is Nomad. Pretty close to the edges. The land is not as much water aside from the north where you have a huge area to fish boom. And nice where you could populate the docks around the coast and get to the fish. So we see lots and lots of Xing from everyone. Miguel as the Spanish will be perhaps where you want to be on Nomad. Off by yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 2 more TCs. There's 7. And where is the final TC? Where is that purple TC from Dogao? Dogao, you want to be off to a good start. You are the Lithuanians. There we are. Alright, so Dogao will be near Vivi. He went straight for the dock before the TC. Alright, so this should be a TC fight. In the south, we'll have Dogao versus Vivi. Then we'll have Fire to the side as the Incas. Goku will be the Turks. And then we will have, for China, it'll be Tim, Lix, and finally Yo. So if the teams get to be in a situation where they are booming, it will be Yo versus Miguel mostly. Yeah, Miguel certainly is a good boomer. But then so is Yo. How do Berbers match up against Spanish? Well, Spanish will have paladins, but Berbers will have those sheep-heavy camels and potentially camel archers versus conquistadors. What Incas really want is that old HD bug where they spawned with an entire wall of llamas around their TC. Now that was something. Imagine if that were the team bonus. And so we'll have a boar here for fire and another one to the south. Nothing that really would be around to lame that. But it looks like only 2 boars really close to him. Could get a third or a fourth, but those are farther away. Here where we'll have the sharing resources of Dogao and Vivi. It looks like each of them at least will get 1 boar. And they'll be fighting over one in the middle as Vivi already has taken a boar. And you can just see how fast the Chinese players get their TCs up and get their boars in. Dogao already doing loom. And it feels like Dogao has just gotten off to a poor start, even as the Lithuanians. You don't want to be doing loom when you have all that extra food. Needed the house, and now is the fishing ship out. And that's looking pretty rough for Dogao. Of course, he's not going to lure the boar this early because he wants to take the wood because he's Lithuanians. That might give Vivi an opportunity to lure it, but no, he's just going to take it right away and try to get under the TC. At least there are a couple of deer here, and he will be getting a house up. He is very much aware that Vivi has a TC right there, and Vivi, of course, with the Vietnamese on his team, because he himself is the Vietnamese, will be very aware of Dogao's precise location, and maybe sending a villager to scout a bit, but at least the boar was already taken there from Dogao. Dogao's just going to chase. Loom for both. Loom for both. Okay, that's interesting to see they both have bloom this early on. But you can just look at the Vil counts. Even as the Lithuanians, Dogao has gotten off to an awful start, put the TC down late, and was housed. And other than fire, why does fire have so few Vils? Oh, there's also someone who's going to be mowing the grass somewhat outside my window, so sorry if you hear some noise. Neighbors cutting their grass. Hello, Kusev. What is being doinked? Oh, there we are. We have a Vil here from Fire trying to trap himself and wall himself in. Miguel sending a friend over to help, and Yo's just going to be walling up, trying to stay safe. Now Fire, Incas, I mean, they should save wood and have a good fish boom. And feels like Miguel, as the Spanish, has really gotten some nomad experience. But the rest of his team may be struggling a bit more. China all pretty consistent with each other, all on 19 pop. And no one docking the middle. Now for the docks, the left-hand side, we'll have Goku fishing in the corner, but he will be surrounded by both Yo and Tim. We have 4 docks in the right. We'll have Lix, Fire, Vivi, and Miguel alternating the teams. And then finally, we need 1 more dock from Dogao, which is just down here right by his TC. And Vivi trying to wall him in as Dogao is trying to wall to keep himself safe. And is Vivi just gonna wall and then go for a castle drop and try to kill Dogao with a castle drop? I feel like that's probably his strategy. Now, Lithuanians, I feel like they should, if they manage everything correctly, be able to click up faster. But 4 villager lead, or 4 eco unit lead right now for Vivi. At least Dogao should have a very safe fish. If Fire is able to go up fast, because that's loom there for Goku, maybe then he'd be able to harass Vivi's fish. But Vivi, look at that. 6 fish already, and Lix up to feudal. That's the Malians. That's the benefit of playing Malians. If you go for that fast feudal, and he has 3 docks, we'll just be going for galleys. And he knows that he is safe. He has a teammate in front of him. And because of their Vietnamese bonus, they know exactly where all the enemy TCs are. And he can probably rely on Tim to protect him while he goes water, depending on what Tim wants to do. Maybe Tim just fast castles, though, and leaves Lix by himself. But considering how Goku has walled up with the Turks, and they know the Turks player probably wants to fast castle, he's probably feeling safe to go water, at least for the moment. And Goku will probably lose a Vil here to Vivi's TC. Don't know what that pathfinding was, but he has a house over here. And Dogao now is walled in by Vivi. Completely walled in. And he's going to stone, so I think it will be a castle drop now for Dogao. As everyone's heading up to feudal, but already double bid axe now for Tim, being very efficient. Slav's not really having an early game eco bonus, but he does have a barracks and a stable, so he will save 50 wood from doing both of those. Each of them counts as a house. And looks like he wants to, well, as I said, Lix will be able to go on the water now, as he'll just be able to try to pressure Goku for a bit. It seems disastrous for Dogao. He could get defeated. He could. He's walled in and he's behind. And Vivi is up to feudal faster. Vivi is on stone too. I think this is just going to be Vivi going for a castle drop and Dogao reacting, but too late. I'll have an X as looking over here. I think our player on the water has managed to clean out a lot of the fish here from fire and even prevent the third dock. As Vivi had a lot of fish here, but he's ran out of fish to take. He needs another dock somewhere. Has a Vil to add one in, at least over here could be a nice spot. Dogao was just very slow in getting the TC up, and then he was housed and he had to do a very early loom. And all that Lithuanian bonus he had just went to waste. Now he has loom for Yo in the feudal age, so you see how late you should be able to delay loom sometimes. Of course, he is just free booming in the pocket, and Miguel, he's not going to free boom. He's going heavy on stone. Looks like he wants to drop a castle on someone, or go conquistadors, but there's no one near him to attack. There's absolutely nowhere he can go. Let's explore. What does right-click to cycle mode? Oh, that's like some combined scouted versus fog of war thing. Okay, so it's filled in moon, outline moon, and then fog off. Okay, that's interesting. Now we'll have a tower rush here from Tim as the defensive tower comes up from Goku. This looks like a quick game. This looks like a really good game for China. Look at their Vil lead already. They are winning the water. Well, Lix may be finally losing some fish here to fire, but he has out galleys. No fletching yet. No fletching for fire either, though. And that one fire galley already is pretty low on HP. And Lix should have another round of reinforcements, or at least one more galley popping out soon. Well, maybe Fire making something of a comeback for his team on the water to the east, but definitely later than Lix was able to go up. And Tim just wants to keep harassing Goku as much as he can. Stop Goku from getting up a good castle. And he's going to do another tower on the stone. Goku doesn't yet have the stone for a castle. And there it is. There's the castle drop from Vivi. Right where you probably would have expected it. Dogao only 75% up. Could he delete those walls and drop a castle right here? He could probably get through it. That might be where he's going. So he is up. And yeah, he's dropping it right on the gold there. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing it a few tiles closer if you can hit the TC. But it will be late. No real petard play opportunity here. So I do wonder if the next play would be a workshop for Dogao and then a ram push. You do one Mangonel to defend your castle maybe, and then you go for a ram push. Or just go straight for the rams. Now, castle for Miguel, but also a castle for Yo. So Yo not just free booming, will be 2 TCs in a castle. Miguel will be 3 TCs in a castle. Looks like Yo has also managed to take Goku off of the fish. And looks with a lot of galleys on the water now. Vivi even going to contribute with a couple of demo rafts. And, well, we have a double castle here from Dogao and from Vivi. Both going to try to kill each other's TC. Dogao, as long as he can die as slowly as possible and maybe take out a TC from Vivi on the way, he can turn this into a 3v3. China's still up 146 to 119 Vils, and feels like they are winning the water for the most part. Looking at the fish, no more fishing ships for Brazil. We still have fishing ships for everyone aside from Vivi, who's adding in more for China. And there's the castle from Goku. He did the castle, and now he's going to send some Vils to knock down a tower. Rat and Archers versus Conquistadors. Miguel will try to micro there. China is great on Nomad. And if they do win this game, then we might actually get to see China versus Finland on Nomad. And Loyanic, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Now to the north, we do have some Conquistador raiding for Miguel, getting a bit too close to the TC. And having maybe too few conks in order to really kill the Vils. You need at least 3, and thanks to the TC fire, he's gone from 2 to 0. And Yo just starting to pump out some camels. We'll have 38 Vils, 8 fishing ships for Yo, against 49 Vils, 2 fishing ships for Miguel. So Miguel adding in his fish again now that fire has the water. And Miguel's gonna look to boom. If Brazil has a shot in this game, it's gotta be from a Miguel boom. Camel Archers from Yo going to help out Tim as Tim's looking to get some stone walls up. And, well, look at how China's playing this. They have Tim stone walling the whole map as the Slavs. And what does that mean? That means that if Miguel goes Conquistadors, or if he goes Imp for a Paladin transition, he's not going to be able to get in quickly and raid unless he has some way to get through the walls. Hi, Brazil. Because you pick the home map, you pick your home maps before any of the bans. So China's able to pick Nomad as the home map. And then the bans are just to determine the neutral map at the end. The Rat and Archer is taking out the villagers. And we'll have houses going up defensively for fire, but he can't get the quick wall in time. He's going to lose a few more Vils to the Rattans. Conquistador is over, but can 2 Conquistadors really help against 5 Rattans? Probably not. At least, well, both players have lost TCs. And with the late shy, well, Dogao's able to get some kills, but Vivi has a TC up. So does Dogao in the back. The 5 fishing ships, though, for Vivi will help him out quite a bit. And as the castles still are fighting each other. And the Rattans take out the Conquistadors of Miguel. And now Fire has to run at risk of losing even more Vils. 17 Vils, though, for Goku. Tim has done such a great job of pressuring him, even with that defensive castle, that Goku just has no access to resources. The player who wants to be aggressively castle dropping with the Janissary is just not able to get anything done. Tim now up to the castle age. He'll have the entire map stone walled. And he's going for a workshop. He wants to apply even more pressure to Goku. This could be a ram push on the castle, knowing that Goku doesn't really have the means to defend it. That's gonna be something of a push. Goku 90 stone, he's mining more, could maybe drop Vivi to do something useful. But that's about it. Rat and Archer is doing a good job raiding Dogao too. I just heard another villager dying. And I heard a doink somewhere. That's a knight from Tim raiding Goku again. Goku 19 Vils. The Janissaries miss. They miss again. They hit the monk, but not enough. And that conversion comes in, and the monk is completely safe. 15 vills now for Goku. Looking at the vill counts, 221 to 187. This is looking better and better for China, as they're looking to advance to the top 3 in Nations Cup, along with Finland and Canada. So Camel Archer going down to the TC fire as the Late Chai give chase. And old 95 vills for Miguel, 78 for Yo. Miguel is at least booming more than Yo, but Yo's looking to expand. Wouldn't mind seeing the stone walls be here towards the narrow bit at the top of the map. And we could look to see Vivi just finish up the stone walls over here for his team. Heading into university now. And that's 4, soon to be 5 rams for Tim. As long as he has a way to defend them, he'll be able to get under that castle and take it out. Here comes the ram push. And this could be Goku being defeated if the ram push succeeds. The Knights will use the cover of the rams to run in under the castle and be there so the vills can't attack them. TC Garrison 2. TC fending the Knights off will be nice without murder holes. I'd say that Goku could use murder holes, but there's no way he has the university to afford that, or the resources to afford it. And yeah, castle will go down, and the TC right after it. Now Goku has to migrate and go into the safety of Dogao's base. And Vivi will keep raiding. We have Miguel, though, up to the Imperial Age. And Miguel, the last hope for Brazil, trying to get the stables forward, but Camel Archers are there to deny the villagers. Doing the armor upgrade and trying to go for paladins. That's what the Spanish player does. That's what Yo has been preparing for all along. Yo up to the Imperial Age 2, and will he go for some cheap Berber camels? Looks like he's just going for castles and camel archers. I imagine he'll probably need a meat shield to fight paladins, but I don't know if it'll get to that point, because you have bloodlines and chain barding armor. On the way for Miguel. Husbandry 2, Miguel clicking the buttons, doing all the upgrade. There is forging. And again, another TC. He has 5 stables finished here. More foundations on the ground. 10 foundations in total. Where's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Where's the 10th stable? Oh, all the way up there. Alright, so we have 6 stables working. Those vills are not going to be protected from the camel archers. Miguel, Yo's going to pick them off and deny that TC. And villagers going down. Nice raid here with the camel archers. Cavalier is in. When will Miguel click paladin? There's Knights are even coming in. We have another target here for Tim with his ram push. As Goku, he's saying, you know what, Dogao, your base isn't safe. I need to run even farther away. Dogao might be sending some vills along with him. The Rams, will they go for the castle or the TCs? Well, they might be going for the TCs. Right now, the Knights are just blocking them. And at least Goku walled out the Ratan archers. But 8 villagers, this is all of Goku's population. Mill and a blacksmith, so he loses those vills, he gets defeated. Tim going for the castle drop down here on Dogao while the Rams come in for a push. And the castle doesn't even need to be dropped there. There's nothing Dogao can do to defend that. Dogao at least on 65 pop because he has some stuff to the side. There's Goku trying to add in a TC. And at least Fire will get up a defensive castle and stop that forward castle from Vivi. Well, Miguel's gonna have to carry this, but Yo and China are very well aware of that, and they're just stonewalling the entire map to make sure they can't be raided by paladins. And Yo, he's gonna try to add in a forward castle. He's done a great job of slowing down this transition to paladins. Miguel out of food with 61 on food. That's a horrible feeling. At least you have gold for paladins on Nomad for a while. There's an abundance of gold and stone on this map. And, oh wait, there's Goku adding in the TC, but here come the camel archers from Mr. Yo. Could this be the end for Goku? He realizes, no, I can't build it there, I have to abandon it. And the Vills are running. If Yo traces, Goku could be defeated. Miguel is trying to split his way out of there and dance around, but Yo has a much higher score than Miguel does now. It's about 150 Vil lead for China. And they're looking to advance to the lower bracket finals, as Yo will carry with some camel archers, even get some Vil kills on Dogao again. Dogao, Goku just out of the game. And Fire, now Fire, he's only on 50 villagers. There's nothing he can really do. He's just making scorpions as the Incas. And, well, here they are. A few paladins raiding from Miguel. Not sure how they got in. Maybe they ran through a gate. But, well, this is what he needs to be doing, but this has to be about 200 paladins instead of 2. And there is the GG, as now Tim is just raiding Miguel's base with knights. And China, with their victory on Nomad, take the series 3-1. And they have a meeting with Finland coming up. And so that'll be most overall score there for Mr. Yo at the end. Military 98 kills for Miguel, but 92 losses, as he just didn't have a team at the end. Vest eco, but China was completely prepared for his boom. 135 Vils too, and APM. Most APM goes to Mr. Yo. Saying Miguel, you type first. Well, congratulations then to China, as they'll be facing Finland. They need to schedule that game, but that'll be a good one too. We saw China-Canada earlier, now we'll see China-Finland, and they'll be playing to face Canada in the grand finals. So finally we'll check off the saves. That's a win for Malians, Vietnamese, Slavs, and Berbers, and then losses for Lithuanians, Incas, Spanish, and Turks. Top 3 teams are just insane. Well, before the tournament start, I had China and Finland as my top 2, with China winning the event. I got 2 of the top 3 correct then. Canada. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting Canada to be quite this good. But they have proven themselves to be an insanely well in sync Age of Empires team. They lost to Nomad, or lost to China on Nomad, but otherwise won 3-1 against them, and had a very competitive series, winning 4-3 over Finland. So let's maybe just look at the standings. This page just got updated. Please refresh, as Finland will now be facing China A in the lower bracket finals, and the winner will go on to face Canada, potentially. Well, for either team, it will be a rematch. Canada has faced both of them already en route to their place in the grand finals. Canada or China-Finland, though, that's gonna be a really interesting matchup. Finland, probably the only team that can take wins on Nomad against China, and also much more versatile when it comes to closed maps like Black Forest. So I'm gonna love seeing that series, and I'll be sure to cast that as soon as we figure out that is scheduled. But for now, that's going to be about it for me today. The craziness of China versus the methodical, controlled style. It's more of a methodical craziness from Finland. We might see just like Vix, Vivi, Lix, and Rubenstock all douching in one game. And let's see who is live right now. I think, let's see, Memb is probably still doing some King of the Desert. We'll send a raid over to Memb. So thanks everyone for watching Nations Cup. I think I'll probably try to get these games uploaded to YouTube. So go say hello to Memb. I think he's co-casting with Ornlu. Give some love to Ornlu too. And I'll see you if I'm not casting games tomorrow. I will definitely be casting them over the weekend. And I'll see you soon. Go say hello to Memb and Ornlu.